Oh, Gret is going to be mad. Everybody blowing up their Teslas. So this is going to be mostly for people on X, followers in general, but mostly for any followers on X. This is for them. I'll be going live at the top of the hour. You might be thinking, what is Skydude? It's a role-playing aspect of doing flight simulation, gaming. Plus, it's a broadcast name and a screen name. You know, we all have our role-playing names for games and screen names. And so, yeah, it's just the persona. All the last couple of years, flight simming experiences, all under the Skydude umbrella. So, what I wanted to do is restart this darn simulator. Doing a little bit of lagging. And also, it was trying to load in Scotland. And that's where I'm going to be taking my followers a flight today. We're going to be going from Glasgow to Edinburgh. In an Archer Midnight. So they're superheroes, so I've got a superhero futuristic vehicle to do this in today. Batman would love this thing. Might have to make a couple of stops along the way. It is, at the moment, electric only. We really need it's coming out in the future, but we really need hybrid versions, one with a little bit of both. But she's got a pretty good lifespan. Like, it can do it cross country. Either way, I've tried to create a plan that'll at least take us near some helipads if we have to touch down and recharge the battery. That takes about a minute. I don't know if any of you out there on Twitter, X, we've been around so long, we still call it Twitter. It's hard to switch it up. Twitter X, X Twitter. Anyway, we had this fine tradition for many years of doing hashtag FF, Follower Friday. And I haven't done any Follower Friday stuff in a long time. And then in the last couple of years, I decided to do like Follower Flight Fridays and set up cool flights for you followers. And I think today's is pretty cool. So it'll just take me a moment. I just restarted the darn thing. So we have this new tool called an electronic flight bag. And in here, I can load the flight plan. All right, I've got the plan loaded, and now I've got to send it to file the plan with air traffic control, and then send the route to avionics, which is kind of hit and miss sometimes. Okay, So now, we should have it somewhere in here. Aha. And I just need to change the, oops, wrong thing. Change the time of day. See what that's like. We'll do, I don't want to do live weather. A few clouds. I don't know if it's going to be trying to stream this terrain and everything to us, so I don't know if I want to turn on live air traffic, but I can. And again, they do have live weather and multiplayer. Now, I haven't ever flown you in something like this before, but today was a special, again, since I haven't done one in a long time. I wanted to me, this is special. I wanted to treat you to something really special, and that's this baby right here. Again, you're a superhero. I figured I'd get a vehicle that was appropriate for superhero needs. Maybe not the fastest thing, but, you know, if you're prowling around your city, right? Now, I don't have the world's greatest computer, and so some of these graphics may look a little bit poor, but you know, it does a really good job of trying to get everything in the world at least there. This is called Microsoft Flight Simulator's Digital Twin, Earth's Digital Twin. So it uses photogrammetry and LiDAR and radar and GPS and blah, blah, blah. But either way, they've created a digital twin. So every building is pretty much where it should be. Even though some of these cubist blocks, those are trees, every tree should be where it should be. They populated the world with animals. And until you fly an area repeatedly, again, it has to stream the content to you. So, by the way, it doesn't look too bad once we get going. All right, so let me put this thing into service mode, or how about ground mode? There we go. This is the cockpit of the future, folks. Seriously, if you thought you can't fly, and even the thought of doing any of the traditional planes in the simulator is keeping you away from it, that's just too much to do, right? Well, this isn't. You don't even really mess with this stuff. You just pretty much use this switch right here. Ground and fly. Right? So if you want to fly, you switch to fly. But right now we're on the ground, so I can recharge the batteries. We're plugged, and we'll set it to a max of, oops, 32. 32 times. Again, I said it takes about a minute. There's our energy bar filling up right now. Thank you to Arthur Yoria for the music. The legendary. Alright, we're full. Unplug the charger. Turn that off. Go back out here. Alright, the flight plan. Well, the flight plan. There we are. Okay. Now the beautiful thing about this is now when we put it into fly mode, right? Anytime you're taking off and landing and you're rolling the death dice, and we're seeing it more and more frequently, and everybody's like, what's going on and what's going on? And 20 years ago, the FAA said 20 years. They said 20 years ago that in 20 years they'd be having a lot of infrastructure problems because all the legendary pilots are mostly retiring or moving on, and they won't have enough unidentified people. Well, here we are. I'm not saying that's the reason, but they've been crying about it for 20 years. Anyway, so takeoffs and landings are the most dangerous part of flying in the whole world. Every time you come in for a landing, it's always a death dice roll. Well, no more. No more, no more. Let me just ease the joystick back a little bit. And let it go. You shouldn't have actually gone forward. It must have had some throttle in there. Where are we at? We're at 22 knots. I'm surprised. Somehow I advanced this. Never mind the aircraft system malfunction stuff up top. There's bugs to this thing. There's bugs in this thing, but it still works fantastic. Just please ignore that. So normally you take off in a hover, not unlike a helicopter. The better thing is now let me just push the joystick forward. Right, and in a helicopter, even this coming in for a landing in a helicopter is rolling a death dice. If you screw up coming down a little too fast, and those things don't have massive shock absorbers on them, why I don't know. Okay, I'm just diving this thing, pushing the joystick forward to have it come down. It's doing an auto assist. If the AI or computer is plotting my descent down, I must still have some throttle on there somewhere. And it tries to give me the smoothest landing as possible. All right, you see that the engine, the propeller stop when I let go. Okay, so see if we can just get up and hover without taking off now. You can now slew sideways and to the left or to the right, like in a helicopter, but safer. We slew back the other way. And turn in place. See what I mean about being perfect for a superhero? And wherever I let go of the joystick on the climb, that's where it just stays. I'm not touching the joystick at the moment. Again, if I just push down, we start a descent. Very easy. All right. Now, this is a little bit... I'm not using a controller, which is actually what most children and younger people use today, and a lot of adults still. They were raised on controllers. I wasn't. I was raised on a joystick. This is even easier for them when they have controllers because they can control they can dial in the speed a little bit better. On this joystick that I've got a slider, and I kind of have to rock it back and forth a little bit to get it to do what I want to begin moving forward. But the good thing is I can still do it pretty good. So normally it starts out at 1 knot, but 6 is good. But you could just cruise along at 1 knot. Okay, if I keep rocking it, I think I can get 20 or 30 knots out of the thing. Let's see, what do we got? There's 7, 8, 11, 12, 15, 16. If you hear a lady start talking, I've got this thing called Bushtalk Radio set up. It does audio tours. So if we come near or within a mile of a landmark, she'll kick in and give us an audio tour. There's 29 knots, okay? Again, disregard the the messages. There's a neat boat over there. In case you live around here, I should probably turn on the markers. I had them turned off for an earlier flight, but I can get them back on. I can't remember where everything is at. Aha, here we go. Landmark markers, city markers, airport markers. Labels for all on-screen points of interest. Okay. Heldon Grove Art Gallery and Museum. Side Bridge Steelworks. St. Andrew's Academy. Hey, sorry. I hate stopping. I really tried planning this ahead, but the buildings aren't looking as great as I would like, so I want to see if I can bump them up a bit. The trees, might as well turn this stuff up so that everything doesn't look totally crap. I don't want to give you a false impression. Sometimes when I'm flying around, I don't care about the graphics. But if you have a really, really good machine, you'll be loving life with something like this. Okay, so that's just us up in a we're in a hover, but we're in a, you know, under 50 knot forward flight. But basically we're still in we're kind of in a between a hover and forward flight. But you see that our nacelles, Captain, the nacelles are still in an upright position. That beautiful bit of masterwork. All right, so I want to make the transition now to forward flight. Okay. So now this will take us to 96 knots or 97 knots, and I also want to engage our autopilot now. So actually I can't engage it till we're in forward flight. All right, let me go up a little bit higher. I don't want to run into anything. I kind of want to turn towards where our GPS plan is set up. So this is Glasgow, Scotland. It's a lovely bridge. Lovely crane you have. Again, the computer's not making this up. This is the best it can do to show you what is actually there when it can. So again, we're looking at an Earth's digital twin in Microsoft Flight Simulator. You will be able to find your house. I'm not kidding. You will be able to find your house, and it'll do a pretty darn good job of whatever the current Bing Maps is for your area. Okay, let's transition. So one click of this button right here, this red one, just push it forward one time, just one click, one ping. Okay. Now you'll see, oh, we're already at 117. Okay, now it's moving. Let me go back out. Look at the nacelles. Whoops. See, they've transitioned. All right, now let's turn on the autopilot. I want to hold this altitude and I want to turn on nav. And I want to adjust my altitude. Light level change. No, it's 400. Sorry, bouncing around. Seven hundred feet. Coming up on the Clyde Bridge Steelworks. All right, so 117 knots. So 117 knots, but this isn't our top cruise speed. So now we're going to push that knob on the joystick one more time forward. And we're going to accelerate up to, I don't know, we'll see. I want to say it's 150 or more. No, it's a hold. Come on, accelerate. We want it to say... wait a minute. Oh, no, okay, so I've got it wrong. Forgive me. 117 is the max. So the first... Okay, so if I push this back one time, it'll take us back to 97. Speed decelerate. No, now this one's going to take us just straight to a hover. Well, got some bugs to work out still. All right. But that's how easy it is to come to a stop if you want. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to hover over some Scottish farmland, looking at the hedgerows and see if we can spot any sheep or something. Okay, let's continue on. Cockpit, please. Thank you. All right, so one time. Might be toggling it twice, or I'm just being too heavy. 96 knots. There's a lot for it to draw here, that's for sure. That it can even do that. That we even, you know, when we were growing up, I don't know about you. I've been around for a while. But seeing how far our graphics have evolved. You know, it's trying to draw every dang tree, everything. Every building, I don't even have the cars on. Let me turn this thing on ultra and show you how insane. The computer might blow up, but it's kind of worth it sometimes. And I'll use a different technology too, the NVIDIA DLSS technology. Set it for quality. There's some things that wouldn't kick in until I do a restart, but it does a pretty good job. Cathedral? Something. Tower. I thought we already been here. We're back at the Clyde Bridge Steelworks. Are we heading back to where we came from? Typical. I'm going to try to make it skip ahead to a different waypoint, and possibly someplace we can stop and get some juice. Shawfield Stadium, Glasgow City, the Botanic Gardens, the Western Necropolis. I didn't think people had necropolises anymore. Necropoli. Alright, let's speed up again. One push. There we go, 117. So yeah, for all intents and purposes, you are looking at Scotland. And it's just going to get better and better and better until it becomes a national security issue. Yeah, so the next 5 years, and then the next 5 years, the way we keep seeing this technology increase, that's a huge... Is that an airport or a factory? It's a huge, huge place over there. I don't know if it turned up all the cars. I'm really not seeing the cars. Let the good times roll. Yeah, they're up. Okay. Guess they just don't have a whole lot of cars running around. Somebody was talking about eventually they might put in live emergencies. Like in the real world, they have these apps now that you can get when you're traveling around that let you know of people broken down on the side of the road, a fire, just an emergency app, and it shows you on your route where all these hazards could be. It even shows you where the police could be. Okay. So adding that kind of data set and application into this so that you can then respond to or see real-time emergency. Now that gets a little scary and a little creepy, but you know, it's not out of the realm of possibility. Something you may or may not know about me, and it may cause you to stop having anything to do with me. But I've got my reasons, and I tried to explain them. I am MAGA. And they've been talking about border security a lot. And futuristic ways to address it, like with drones running up and down the border. Great place for filming Highlander or something. And using this kind of technology for monitoring. That gets really creepy, NSA stuff. Yada, yada, yada. But anything is possible now. How far away to that next airport? Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Somehow or another. Okay, so it was just elevation of... Sorry. Alright, so that helipad is right up ahead. Good. And the Black Loch. Pretty impressive though, wouldn't you say? And this is a 4070 Ti Super, something like that. And they're already out, ready to release, what, the 5090s? I saw a demo one, and it seems like the 5090s are getting closer to... Have you seen those AI recreations of movies and television shows? And it's AI and Panavision, and it's trying to recreate that Panavision look for everything. The 5090s seem like they're capable of rendering that in Technicolor. That's pretty amazing. Okay, now we can see some cars. The other camera. No. Come on, give me the proper camera. I can't believe we haven't tipped off any audio stuff at all. Let me open up Bushtalk. Let's find out where we're at. Oh, we're getting ready to pass this thing right here.
Bellshill Railway Station served the town of Bellshill, North Lanarkshire, Scotland, from 1879 to 1951 on the Glasgow, Bothwell, Hamilton, and Coatbridge Railway. The station was opened on the 1st of May 1879 by the North British Railway. To the west was the goods yard. There were two signal boxes, Bellshill North, which was situated to the north, and Bellshill South signal box, which was to the south and north of Rosehall South signal box. A branch opened in 1900, allowing access to the Hatton Rig Colliery pits. The station closed on the 1st of January 1917 but reopened on the 2nd of June 1919. The signal boxes closed in 1945 and the station closed permanently on the 10th of September 1951.
I think I was wrong. We weren't there. So to our north will be this.
The Newbridge Inn is a public house in Newbridge, a suburban village
Not going to be able to see it.
Edinburgh, Scotland. The inn was founded in 1683. The present building is dated 1895 and is a Category C listed building. It is located at the corner of Old Liston Road and Bridge Street, which was formerly the main route from Edinburgh to Glasgow.
There's the train line. That's a nice little manor there. Must be nice. These Amazon centers, my lord. Shopping centers. Oh. Sorry. I'm not going to be, I don't think we're going to be able to see it, but in this direction over here, we have a wind farm.
The 88-turbine Black Law wind farm has a total capacity of 188 megawatts. The first phase of 42 turbines was the largest, sufficient to meet the average electricity needs of 70,000 homes each year, or a town the size of Paisley, and is estimated to save around 200,000 tons of carbon dioxide emissions a year. The £90 million wind farm is located near Climpy in South Lanarkshire and has been built on an old open-cast coal mine site which was completely restored to shallow wetlands during the construction programme. It employs 7 permanent staff on site and created 200 jobs during construction. Phase 1 was the first built in 2005, consisting of 42 turbines, which at the time was the largest onshore wind farm in the UK. Phase 2 added another 12 turbines in 2006.
Latch Farm Airstrip, is that where we're going? If not, we should be going. One minute and 8 seconds to something. That's just a waypoint. I think it might be. Let's turn off the autopilot and go over there. That'd be a good place for lunch. The New Bridge Inn. My treat. This follower Friday. We're going to have to start thinking about places for things like this and other vehicles to land in now. Buildings should be made with reinforced structure for helipad operations. 1 knot. I love it. The ability to dial in the speed that you want to go and control every aspect of it. No more worry about running. I mean, you can still run into people, I suppose. But as we go forward with more and more AI, I don't think it's even going to let you, you know, the chances of it. And again, so much stress, more stress-free, like a helicopter. Not unlike a helicopter, where again, if you come down too fast, you're done for. Let's plug the charger in. We'll head over to that inn, see if we can get some fine Scottish grub. Now, I'm not saying you should drink and partake of anything when you're flying. If you're the pilot, you got to be pretty sober all the time. But, I mean, this is even taking away that. You don't even have to, I mean, this is so easy to fly that it's crazy. I love it. There's the new bridge in. Never ceases to amaze me. So we're coming into Edinburgh, and should be some famous castles and stuff around here. Started learning how to fly an airship this week. Didn't get very far. A blimp, you know, like the Goodyear blimp. Did manage to figure out how to like make the big propellers on it rotate. That's pretty much as far as I got. Look at that. They've got an ancient aqueduct. Another little manor or castle.
The Newbridge Inn is a public house in Newbridge, a suburban village to the west of Edinburgh, Scotland. The inn was founded in 1683. The present building is dated 1895 and is a Category C listed building. It is located at the corner of Old Liston Road and Bridge Street, which was formerly the main route.
Well, that's just a train bridge. I thought it was aqueduct. Somebody was talking about real-time trains being put in at some point. It's like a blue Disneyland over there. I don't know that you even have this kind of fidelity in a helicopter, really, to just dial in the right speed that you want. I don't know enough about modern advanced technology in helicopters. But in the ones I've used so far, no. There are some places in the digital twin of Earth where they've done super areas that are like super high definition. So don't let this, you know, when you see something and you're like, well, it doesn't look that great. You know, not every place in the world looks absolutely 4K ready yet. But that's where it's going. But it's doing the best it can. It's trying to put every building there and texture map everything correctly and all the elevations right and get all the trees right. Let's go find that castle. Should be that away. Dollhouse Castle. Oh, here comes that blue Disneyland place. Wonder what that is. Doesn't have a title on it. There's Edinburgh Castle. Nice bridge. Interesting. me pause right here.
Edinburgh is the capital of Scotland and one of its 32 council areas. Historically part of the county of Midlothian, it is located in Lothian on the Forth's southern shore. Recognised as the capital of Scotland since at least the 15th century, Edinburgh is the seat of the Scottish Government, the Scottish Parliament and the Supreme Courts of Scotland. The city's palace of Holyrood House is the official residence of the monarch in Scotland. The city has long been a centre of education, particularly in the fields of medicine, Scots law, literature, philosophy, the sciences and engineering. It is the second largest financial centre in the United Kingdom, and the city's historical and cultural attractions have made it the United Kingdom's second most visited tourist destination, attracting 4.9 million visits, including 2.4 million from overseas in 2018. Edinburgh is Scotland's second most populous city and the seventh most populous in the United Kingdom. The official population estimates are 488,050 for the locality of Edinburgh, 518,500 for the city of Edinburgh, and 1,339,380 for the city region. Edinburgh lies at the heart of the Edinburgh and South East Scotland city region, comprising East Lothian, Edinburgh, Fife, Midlothian, Scottish Borders, and West Lothian. The city is the annual venue of the General Assembly of the Church of Scotland. It is home to national institutions such as the National Museum of Scotland, the National Library of Scotland, and the Scottish National Gallery. The University of Edinburgh, founded in 1582 and now one of 4 in the city, is placed 20th in the Q's World University Rankings for 2020. The city is also known for the Edinburgh International Festival and the Fringe, the latter being the world's largest annual international arts festival. Historic sites in Edinburgh include Edinburgh Castle, the Palace of Holyrood House, the churches of St Giles, Greyfriars and the Canongate, and the extensive Georgian new town built in the 18th/19th centuries. Edinburgh's Old Town and New Town together are listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which has been managed by Edinburgh World Heritage since 1999.
All right, that was quite a bit. Okay, so if you don't normally tune into my show, sometimes we do a little bit of role playing, right? So on this Follower Friday, we're all going to have a rugby match with the Scottish team. Now, a lot of the stadium in the Simulator 2 are way better rendered than this. I've been in them. I've done this lots of times. This one is a poor example of a fully realized stadium. It doesn't look bad from a distance, and the exterior is not bad. But some of the interiors of a handcrafted stadium are absolutely stunning. So, but again, not everything in the world is yet. Give it time. All right, so I wanted to come down here, and we're going to have a rugby match against the local team, and we're going to see if we can beat them. Okay. So what I do is, and since they're really good at this kind of thing, I have to give them an advantage. So in Dungeons and Dragons, things are based on like difficulty class. Okay, a 10 isn't, well, 5 would be a really easy difficulty class. A 10 is average, 15 kind of hard, and a 20 is really hard. And then you have to have special abilities, you know, all your traits and da-da-da-da-da, if it's over a 20, like a difficulty class 30. Okay, so you have to be really high level, and you have to have amazing skills to roll with enough pluses to get a 30. But that's not us. All right, so we'll say it's a difficulty class 15. So we'll get a D20. And if we get over a 15, we beat the local rugby team here in Edinburgh, Scotland. 14. So close. But we lost. And you win some, and you lose some. Where's our craft? Our superhero craft. Beautiful cathedral down there. Or, yeah, church.
Edinburgh Castle is a historic fortress which dominates the skyline of Edinburgh, the capital city of Scotland, from its position on the Castle Rock. Archaeologists have established human occupation of the rock since at least the Iron Age, although the nature of the early settlement is unclear. There has been a royal castle on the rock since at least the reign of David I in the 12th century, and the site continued at times to be a royal residence until 1633. From the 15th century, the castle's residential role declined, and by the 17th century it was principally used as military barracks with a large garrison. Its importance as a part of Scotland's national heritage was recognised increasingly from the early 19th century onwards, and various restoration programmes have been carried out over the past century and a half.
Are you accelerating or decelerating?
Strongholds in the Kingdom of Scotland, Edinburgh Castle was involved in many historical conflicts from the Wars of Scottish Independence in the 14th century to the Jacobite Rising of 1745. Research undertaken in 2014 identified 26 sieges in its 1,100-year-old history, giving it a claim to having been the most besieged place in Great Britain and one of the most attacked in the world. Few of the present buildings predate the Lang siege of the 16th century, when the medieval defences were largely destroyed by artillery bombardment. The most notable exceptions are St. Margaret's Chapel from the early 12th century, which is regarded as the oldest building in Edinburgh, the Royal Palace and the early 16th century Great Hall, although the interiors have been much altered from the mid-Victorian period onwards. The castle also houses the Scottish regalia, known as the Honours of Scotland, and is the site of the Scottish National War Memorial and the National War Museum of Scotland. The British Army is still responsible for some parts of the castle, although its presence is now largely ceremonial and administrative. Some of the castle buildings house regimental museums which contribute to its presentation as a tourist attraction. The castle, in the care of Historic Environment Scotland, is Scotland's most and the United Kingdom's second most visited paid tourist attraction, with over 2.1 million visitors in 2018 and over 70% of leisure visitors to Edinburgh visiting the castle. As the backdrop to the Edinburgh military tattoo during the annual Edinburgh Festival, the castle has become a recognisable symbol of Edinburgh and Scotland.
Gotta wonder how much is into the earth, right? You always hear about like dungeons and looking at all this stuff. I can't imagine that they didn't build down, and possibly to this day. That must be something to see in real life. This must be absolutely amazing. This whole town is beautiful. I'm loving the layout. I love the architecture. I love the buildings. It's got to be crazy though if you don't know your way around. It's still pretty grid-like, but all these structures have like inner courtyard. One of these is like its own little castle. And you get a manor, and you get a manor, and you get a manor. Again, some of the buildings in the simulator, the cathedrals and stuff that are highlighted, way more detailed. That's just kind of groovy, big horseshoe kind of thing. I think there was a helicopter. Well, let's fly over on that hill over there. Then we'll wrap it up. Thank you for joining me on this Follower Friday. I haven't done one in a long time. It's a real pleasure to treat you to something like this. What do you think about this Archer Midnight and this new... this is going to be the future of aviation. I can't imagine, or can't wait, actually, until airliners can do this. No more hurtling at the ground at 200 knots. That helicopter and that airplane that crashed, that should never happen again. I mean, unless you're really not paying attention. Holyrood House.
The Palace of Holyrood House, commonly referred to as Holyrood Palace, is the official residence of the British monarch in Scotland, Queen Elizabeth II. Located at the bottom of the Royal Mile in Edinburgh, at the opposite end to Edinburgh Castle, Holyrood Palace has served as the principal residence of the kings and queens of Scots since the 16th century, and is a setting for state occasions and official entertaining. Queen Elizabeth spends 1 week in residence at Holyrood Palace at the beginning of each summer, where she carries out a range of official engagements and ceremonies. The 16th century historic apartments of Mary, Queen of Scots, and the state apartments, used for official and state entertaining, are open to the public throughout the year, except when members of the royal family are in residence.
Now that is lovely. That's a handcrafted. You can still see. Too cool. Beautiful modeling. I don't even know. This place over here, the Parliament, very detailed too. And I don't know what dynamic Earth is, but this looks cool. Seaton Castle. I don't think that they would mind if we landed over there to do a recharge. Battle of Preston Pans. Take it easy.
The Battle of Prestonpans, also known as the Battle of Gladsmuir, was fought on the 21st of September 1745, near Prestonpans, in East Lothian. It was the first significant engagement of the Jacobite Rising of 1745, which is generally viewed as a subsidiary conflict of the War of the Austrian Succession. Jacobite forces led by the Stuart exile Charles Edward Stuart defeated a government army under Sir John Cope, whose inexperienced troops broke in the face of a Highland charge. The battle lasted less than 30 minutes and was a huge boost to Jacobite morale. A heavily mythologized version of the story entered art and legend.
The Scots whooped their butts, huh? Seaton Castle's awful small and tucked away, and I don't really see much. Oh well, we'll just have to see about plugging into somebody's house over here. Pop open the champagne and the picnic basket. She lovely. They don't have the camping utilities set back up for 2024 yet. But as soon as I get it, you know me, I want to go to explore some sites. And it's always fun at the end of these to throw out the camping gear. Could have just been a mirage. I thought there was some water over here. My eyes playing tricks on me. Gonna scare some Scottish person. Yeah, I've just drug my extension cord all the way over here. Is it cool that I plug in? Yeah, I think I was hallucinating. Like there could have been a stream here, moving through here at one time. My shoes. Isn't she beautiful? I love it. Her little sister is called the Joby. And then the little sister of Joby is the Jetson. Just for, you know, one seat. And this is just generation 1. Think about when they get even more high performance, or even some hybrid, we get some with some fuel. Or when they start doing this with jets. Little mini jets. We have finally arrived at Star Trek. And I think the FAA, you know, again, 20 years ago, they said there wouldn't be enough people to fly these complex machines. And they are. I mean, they're terribly complex. And any little mistake is just death. And you see how easy it is to operate something like this. We live in amazing times. All right, well, happy Follower Friday. You have a great, great weekend. And I'm sure I'll be bitching on the X Twitters with you later this evening. Being disgusted at something. But thank you. Thank you for being a follower. And thank you. Oh, and it's 4:20. Perfect, perfect, perfect.